mind. What are you doing over there? How did you get across the wall?
I live here. How did you get... Why, I can see you.
Where?
Here, down here. You're not one of us.
We never knew there were other people.
There are other people?
And we never knew.
Other people? How long have your people been here?
Forever.
We too. Are there many of you?
Oh, a great many. Far too many than you could possibly number in your two hands. And yours?
Perhaps not quite so many. I cannot think how we did not know of you.
Nor I.
It is odd. Do you often come near our wall?
We guard our wall constantly.
It is our wall, you know.
You lie. It is ours, our defense.
Don't be ridiculous. It is descended to us for our devotion and delight.
You lie. It was dedicated to us as we are to it. It is our duty and our defense.
You are making no sense. What are those words you use?
It is you who speak wildly. I cannot understand you.
Then you are a fool.
And you are mad.
Leave our wall at once.
I never leave my post.
Come quickly. I found other people.
Soldier! I heard voices. Civilian servants?
Captain, I've discovered people just beyond our barrier.
People? What sort of people? Are there many? Are they dangerous?
Well, I only saw one, sir. She says there are more, but I wouldn't take her word. She seemed quite mad.
Mad? Why do you say that?
Well, she spoke so wildly, sir, and used words I'd never heard.
You mean she speaks in some kind of a foreign tongue?
Perhaps. Part of the time she spoke our language, though with an odd, frivolous accent. And then she'd use words I'd never heard before, sir.
Well, what kind of words? Can you recall any?
Well, I can't recall exactly, sir. But one had the word light in it.
Light. That's not foreign at any rate. Light, some sort of code, perhaps? Like maybe creatures from the sun? Light the year of our destruction? You heard of that, right, Sentry?
I have heard of it, sir.
Never have been told there wasn't that day. Such a light as has not been seen before or since. And perhaps their demons come to unleash another destruction upon us.
Oh, sir, she looked harmless.
Well, looks to see you, Sentry. I mean, you should have learned that by now. But let them come. This time we're ready. Now, where is this creature?
I do not know, sir. She left.
You let her get away? We'll find her, man. Where did she go?
That way. You can't mean to go beyond the barrier.
What's that?
She's coming back, and with others by the sound.
Are you sure? How exciting. Of course I'm sure. I told you I saw him.
Was he a horrible monster?
No, just a soldier.
A soldier? You mean like...
What? You never speak of that. Did he seem, threatening?
No, not really threatening, but he spoke so wildly and he used such funny words. Part of the time I could not understand him. And I'm afraid I rather lost my temper.
Oh, really, my dear, that was hardly wise. Would not a gentle and loving attitude have accomplished more?
Perhaps, but he was not a creature I could find it easy to love.
Nevertheless, it is the law, you know. But, what were these, odd words you spoke of?
Oh, yes, what were they? Can you remember any of them?
Yes, I think so. One was, they were so odd, but one was, defense.
Defense?
Yes, that was it.
But what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. Well, I never heard of it.
Do you know if the word has a meaning? Do you understand how he may have meant it?
I think so. He said, our wall was their defense.
Their defense. That still doesn't make
Our
any...
wall? How dare they? How can they say our wall is their anything?
Quiet! My dears, we must try to understand these men. Remember that one of them said that they lived on their side of the wall forever. Now, is it not only natural that in time they should come to regard the wall as being theirs.
But it is ours.
Yes, it is ours. That's the first thing that all of us learn. However, suppose that it is the first thing that they learn too. Perhaps they regard the wall as their property, as their defense.
But still, what is a defense? I know what a fence is.
You may be nearer the truth than you think. Wall, fence, they're very similar, are they not? And perhaps to these people, the wall is divine to them as it is to us. Could not defense be their word for a divine fence?
Wise one, you are right as always. You make me very ashamed.
No, come, we must come to a closer understanding with our new neighbors.
Our neighbors? Soldiers?
Why, of course,
After all, they're only people.
just like us.
Just like us. Oh. Wait. I mean, don't you... Why don't we get the others? I'm sure they'd want to be here.
Yes, you're right. Summon them, will you, my dear?
Are you sure we should try understanding our neighbors? I mean,
It is the law, you know. All men can be reached by love and understanding, even such as these.
What is it? Have you truly found other people? Well, where are they?
We're going to them now, child. Come, all of you.
Any developments, sir?
Stand ready, they approach.
Friends, are you still there?
Friends, like Sentry says, they must be mad.
We're here.
It is a delight to welcome you as our brothers.
Word again.
I beg your pardon?
Go on.
It is indeed, I say, a delight to welcome you as our neighbors. We indeed invite you to join us on our side of the wall to enjoy a friendship.
We never pass beyond our barrier. It's our duty to defend it against all comers, and to do so, we remain nearby at all times.
No, my friends, we only mean to get acquainted. What danger can there be in that?
Hear that? Insidious witches.
What danger? He must be a demon, no doubt.
We may not leave our post.
Good heavens. How ridiculous. Well, what are they afraid of? But what are we to do now?
I don't like this. What do you think they're up to, sir?
Do you think they're dangerous?
Dangerous? Kind of hard to tell, and they don't seem so. And I can't foresee no attack.
Well, suppose they're just trying to get us off our guard.
Ha! Just let them try. We'll be ready.
We better stay ready. Never underestimate your enemy, soldier.
Sir, perhaps we
We have that right now. Ask questions later.
Yes, sir.
So stand guard. You stay on our side of the barrier, and on no account let anyone cross either side. Remember the prophecy, men.
but what can we do if they simply will not listen to anything we have to say?
We must be patient.
Patient, but they simply refuse to realize we mean them no harm. How can we overcome that attitude? Surely it's obvious that we regard them as friends, is it not?
Surely it must be. However, we must not try to convert them all at once. Remember, we have the prophecy to guide us. I mean, we know that we have truth on our side, so therefore we can afford to wait. Their conversion is bound to take a little time.
But how can we convert them if we cannot even see them? Yes, we must get them to come to our side of the wall. But I do not think they want to come.
True, very true. I must speak with them again.
Perhaps if we told them of the prophecy. Good heavens, our prophecy? Why on earth should we do that? Well, I just thought it might help to convince them.
You may be right, my dear. You may be right, but we shall see. Friends, have you changed your minds?
No?
But my friends, only listen to what we have to say. We have devoted our lives to loving our neighbors. How can we possibly do harm to you? All we seek is to know each other, that we may destroy distrust and suspicion, that we may all exist in love and harmony. Do you think that there is evil in that?
We have heard these words before, and we have come to distrust such sentiments. We may not leave our post.
My friends, how can you distrust love?
There were those who spoke to us of love before, and they said, love our enemies, show them only kindness. And they destroyed us. Well, it shall not happen again.
No. Friends, you are mistaken. It was not love that destroyed. Love, by its very nature, can only nourish and strengthen. It was hatred, my dear friends, hatred and distrust that poisoned all the world.
You're wrong!
No, we're not wrong. People have been mistaken before, but now we realize only the great power of love. You see, ever since the day of the prophecy...
The
we
what?
haven't- The prophecy, our prophecy. Ever since that
You received
day...
a prophecy too?
Beg your pardon?
Our people discovered this wall in the year 0. And we were puzzled as to its meaning.
Even so with our people.
And then in the year 1 we received a prophecy.
And us also.
About the meaning of the wall?
Why, yes.
What was your prophecy?
I will gladly tell it to you. We have it word for word, even now. On the day of the destruction, all of the world was consumed on the altar of the great fire. And on that day, a symbol born out of the ashes of the civilization. The symbol stands for the past, for mankind's destruction of mankind. The symbol also stands for the future. You shall strive to follow the spirit of this future. And there shall come a day where mankind shall realize this meaning and shall tremble in fear and awe. And on that day, mankind shall be born again. This is our prophecy. Oh, thank you. Not really. It's not that hard.
That is our prophecy.
Their prophecies? How can that be?
Let me think.
Witchcraft! Can't I tell you it's witchcraft?
Destroy Silence!
My friends, is it true that you received the same prophecy as we?
We did!
Well, then you must agree that this wall has a meaning and that the meaning must be found.
Yes, we agree.
Well, then, if you agree, well, then, my friends, you cannot be against us.
Why not?
Why? Why? Because of the meaning. The wisest of our people pondered and studied for years to discover the true meaning of this symbol. And one day they did discover the meaning, and is this: we dare to defy the cautious and the suspicious fears of the past. We are delivered from the fear of every human, and we are devoted to our new deity. Oh, my friends, this must be the answer for you too. And if you've not known it before, accept it now.
What nonsense is that?
What nonsense? What do you mean?
What do you mean? Can't even understand your words.
Did you not hear?
We heard, but we do not understand.
Odd. My friends, love! Love is the answer to the riddle of the wall.
Love, yes.
Yes, love. Love. Unrestrained and unqualified love for all people. You see, it's so
Silence! You're the one speaking to us of love demons, trying to awaken us all. And that's why we have found the true meaning. We are dedicated to our one devotion, our one duty, and it's defense. Defense against such as you. We're not going to let you weaken us again. And that is the true meaning of the wall, defense.
What does he mean? I'm scared.
What is this word? Defense. What does it mean?
It means we have guarded our barrier since the year one against such as you. I mean, guard, don't you understand that?
Yes.
We shall continue to be on guard. We will not let you weaken us again. So take this love of yours and go. We want none of it.
Did we hear correctly?
We did, my dear. They're the same. The same, yet we listened to our kind before.
Then what is there to do now?
What we did before. Go on loving, though they do not want us to.
Do not want love. They're fools.
They are, my dear. Fools and blind. They do not want love and they do not deserve it. But as we did before, we must go on loving them.
Well, how?
What was that, child?
How do we love those that we feel to be unworthy?
Child, if you wish me to explain to you
Well,
later.
perhaps you should. I do not see how such a thing is possible.
Wait, do you mean we should not love them?
Oh, no. I think we should love them. I really do. But how can we love someone and at the same time call him unworthy of love?
You are very young, child, and you cannot be expected to know all of our precepts or even understand them yet. But you must have faith in our way of life. Do you have faith in us?
Oh, yes.
No, that's plenty, my dear. That's plenty. Come, all of you.
But wait. Where are you going? You aren't... Are you leaving?
Why, yes. Why should we stay here?
But what of them?
Is it not obvious? They are stubborn, my dear. They will not listen.
But so, we just leave them?
What would you have us do? Stay here forever, hoping someday a miracle will change their minds?
And so, we just give up?
We've had experience with these such as before, my dear. They are stubborn, my dear. I fear that we can do nothing.
It isn't as though we haven't tried.
And we would be foolish if we did not learn from experience, wouldn't we, my dear? Exactly. Come, all of you.
Well, I say, kill them all.
And I say use a little more discipline, soldier.
But why not, sir? It's obvious that the same.
It's not our task. Remember, we're defenders, not attackers.
So, what do we do, sir?
We defend.
You mean just what we've done before, sir?
I mean, just that. Remember that, men.
Yes, sir.
Stand ready for whatever might happen. And anything might happen. So far, they've done nothing. Don't get overconfident. They might make a move at any time.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Well,
Why are we so sure they're enemies?
why do you think we try to get across the barrier so badly?
Well, yes, but I mean, they seem kind
Well,
and gentle.
they seemed, did they? That's how they trapped the fools before that. That's their danger. Don't you understand that?
Oh no, sir.
You disagree with me?
I'm sure you must be right.
I think it's time you're going to become a soldier. Our job is to guard this barrier. I mean, especially now. No one gets across. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
I don't think they're going to try anything so soon. But we'll leave someone within call. Stand guard, soldier.
Yes, sir. Who's that?
Oh, it's only me.
I thought you'd all left.
Well, they. Everyone else did.
You're alone?
Yes. Can't you come over here?
No.
Well, what harm can there be in it?
I may not leave my post.
I'm all alone, I swear. And besides, you can always call for help. I heard them say.
You were listening to us?
I was not.
You were?
I was not. It's just as she said.
What is?
You're not a horrible monster.
Did you think I would be?
Oh, I did not know.
Well, now what do you think I am?
I still do not know. But you don't look so terribly dreadful.
Nor do you. What's that?
Oh, this? A rose?
A rose? Where'd you get it?
We grow them in gardens. You should see our gardens, rows and rows of flowers. But what I like best are sunflowers.
Do you have rows and rows of them too?
Oh, no. The others don't like them very well. They say they're weeds. But I grow some in my own private garden. Do you like sunflowers?
I don't know. I've never seen any.
You've never seen any sunflowers.
No, I haven't. I've never seen any sunflowers at all. We don't have them.
You don't? I can't believe it.
Well, we don't. Anyways, have you ever seen a cannon?
No. What's that?
It's a big machine for killing people.
Killing people? Why would you want to do that?
I mean, we don't want to, but if anybody should attack, we're ready.
Oh. Then who do you suppose might attack you?
I don't know, but...
Surely you don't think we would.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Your people are pacifists.
What are pacifists?
People who want peace.
Well, then, that's right. We are. But what do your people want?
Peace, of course.
Really? Then what are the cannons for?
Well, they're... You wouldn't understand. What are flowers for?
Well, isn't it beautiful?
Well, yes, but... I mean, what's it for?
Well, why does it have to be for anything? It's beautiful. We think that's enough.
That wouldn't do in our camp. Everything must have a purpose. But it is kind of beautiful.
Oh, not as beautiful as my sunflowers. Do let me show you some. I won't be a minute.
All right.
You won't go away, will you?
Of course not.
See, isn't it lovely?
This is a weed?
Well, that's what the others call them. You do know what a weed is.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we have gardens too, but only for food.
I brought you something else, too.
What are they?
Some seeds?
For growing sunflowers?
Yes. Don't you want it?
Well, of course I do. But where must I plant them?
Oh, it doesn't matter. You'll plant them now and they'll be grown before long.
Before long. But the others will not like it. They may pull them all up.
That won't do much good. The seeds will scatter and some new flowers will grow.
But they will be pulled up again.
Then they will grow again. You don't get rid of sunflowers by just pulling them up.
Why do my people say you're dangerous?
I do not think we are.
Well, I don't think you are either.
Well, we don't have any cannons. And why do my people say you were fools and blind? I do not think you're blind.
I can see your flowers.
Well, the others are older than I and much wiser.
But did not see each other.
Your people would not come across the wall.
We were afraid.
So were we, too. I wonder if that's what experience is. Are you afraid now of me?
No. Are you afraid of me?
No. My people say it stands for devotion.
Mine are sure it stands for defense.
Can both of them be right?
I don't think so. What do you think it means?
Oh, I don't know. I've wondered first what was on the other side. What do you think?
About the wall? Well, I don't know. But I know now that my people are wrong. I mean, they must be wrong. For so long, they didn't know what to defend. From people they didn't even know to be enemies.
Well, I think you're right. And I think my people have been mistaken too. Trying to love without trying to understand.
Then if both are wrong, then who is right? I mean, how can we know?
Well, my people say they preached love before.
Mine were defenders before. But the destruction came anyway. It came anyway, and they could not stop it. They're fools. Why did they think they could do any better now? They're fools. Fools that...
Oh, no.
What does it matter?
Oh, please do not.
You are hurt for me? Is that what love is? Why do my people fear it so? I wish I could find out.
I wish I could help you.
Could I... Can I learn to love?
It is so easy to learn.
My dear! Will you be shot for this?
This is the fucking post, sir! This is his first time, sir.
We're very worried about you.
Suppose you have some good excuse for this, huh?
No, sir.
Child, did we not tell you there was no use to talk to those
We'll
men?
look at just this once.
But now back to your post! With me, my dear.
Wait, please let me explain.
Soldier!
Sir.
I'm warning you, don't push your luck here!
What's the matter with you? Come quickly.
We can do nothing against them.
No, don't say that. Don't go back now.
Where else can we go?
Must we? Is
Soldier!
there nothing we can do?
Are you mad?
My people would never allow you in our camp.
But my people.
Child, you must obey or we must leave you.
Would they be more willing to have me?
We will meet again. We will.
Perhaps.
Are you coming?
Anyways, you have the seeds. You will plant them. Remember.
I will remember. Go now.
Come, my dear.
You've got 5 seconds, soldier.
Yes, sir.
9 o'clock. We've drunk the soup and eaten the fish and chips and the English salad. Our children have drunk English water. We've eaten well this evening. That's because we live in the suburbs of London and because our name is Smith. Potatoes are very good, fried and fat. The salad oil was not rancid. The oil from the grocer at the corner of the street is better quality than the oil from the grocer across the street. Well, it is even better quality than the oil from the grocer at the bottom of the street. However, I prefer not to tell them that their oil is bad. However, the oil from the grocer at the corner is still the best. Mary did the potatoes well this evening. Last time she did not do them well. I do not like them when they are well done. The fish was fresh. It made my mouth water. I had 2 helpings. No, 3 helpings. That made me go to the WC. You also had 3 helpings. However, the third time you took less than the first 2 times, and as for me, I took a great deal more. Why is that? Usually, it is you who eats more. It is not appetite you lack. However, the soup was perhaps a little too salt. It was even saltier than you. It had too many leeks and not enough onions. I regret I did not advise Mary to add some aniseed stars. The next time I'll know better. Our little boy wanted to drink some beer today. He's going to love getting tiddly. He's like you. At table, did you notice how he stared at the bottle? However, I poured some water from the jug into his glass. He was thirsty and he drank it. Helen is like me. Thrifty, a good manager, plays the piano. She never asks to drink English beer. She's like our youngest daughter, who eats only port and drinks only milk. Well, it's obvious she's only 2. She's named Peggy. The quince and bean pie was marvelous this evening. It would have been nice, perhaps, to have had a small glass of Australian Burgundy with the sweet, but I did not wish to set it at the table because I did not wish to set the children a bad example of gluttony. They must learn to be temperate and sober. Mrs. Parker knows a Romanian grocer by the name of Popescu Rosenfeld who's just gotten in from Constantinople. He's a specialist in yogurt. He has a diploma from the School of Yogurt Making in Adrianople. Tomorrow I shall go and buy a large pot of native Romanian yogurt from him. One doesn't often find such fancies in the suburbs of London. Yogurt is excellent for the stomach, the kidneys, the appendicitis, the apotheosis. It was Dr. Mackenzie King who told me that. He's the one that takes care of our neighbors, the Johns. He's a good doctor. One can trust him. He never prescribes any medicine that he hasn't tried out on himself first. Before operating on Parker, he had his own liver operated on first, even though he was not the least bit ill.
But how is it that Parker died while the doctor pulled through?
Because the operation was a success in the doctor's case, and it was not in Parker's.
Then Mackenzie is not a good doctor. Either both should have survived the operation or else both should have perished.
Why?
Why, a doctor and his patient should eat well together if they can't die together. If a captain goes down with his ship into the briny deep, he does not survive alone.
One cannot compare a patient with a ship.
Well, why not? Your doctor's as hale as a ship, moreover, a ship has its diseases. If a doctor and his patient cannot survive, they must perish, like a captain and his ship.
I never thought of that. Perhaps it is true. And then what conclusion do you draw from this?
All doctors are quacks, and all patients too. Only the Royal Navy is honest in England.
But not sailors.
Oh, naturally. Here's the thing I don't understand. In the paper, they always give the age of the deceased, but never the age of the newly born. That doesn't make any sense.
I never thought of that.
It says here Bobby Watson's died.
My God, the poor man. When did he die?
Why do you pretend to be astonished? You know very well he's been dead these past 3 years. Surely you remember we went to his funeral a year and a half ago.
Well, of course I remembered. I remembered it right away. But I don't understand why you yourself were so amazed to see it in the paper.
It wasn't in the papers. His death was announced 2 years ago. I remembered it through association of ideas.
What a pity. He was so well preserved.
He was the handsomest corpse in Great Britain. Poor Bobby. He didn't look his age. He'd been dead 4 years and didn't look a day over 60. And how cheerful he was.
Poor Bobby.
Which poor Bobby do you mean?
Why, it is his wife that I mean. She is named Bobby too, Bobby Watson. Since they had the same name, you never could tell one from the other when you saw them together. It was only after his death that you really could tell which was which. And there are still people today who confuse her with the deceased and offer their condolences to him. Do you know her?
I met her once by chance at Bobby's burial.
I've never seen her. Is she pretty?
She has regular features, yet one cannot say that she is very pretty. She is too big and stout. Her features are not regular, yet one can still say that she is pretty. She is very small and thin. She is a voice teacher.
And when do they plan to get married, those two?
Why, next spring at the latest.
We shall have to go to the wedding, I suppose.
We shall have to get them a wedding present. I wonder what.
Why don't we give them one of the 7 silver salvers that were given to us on our wedding day, and which have been no use to us? How sad for her to be left a widow so young.
Unfortunately, they had no children.
Children, indeed. Poor woman, how could she have managed?
Oh. She's still very young. She might well remarry. She looks so well in mourning.
But who would take care of the children? You know very well they have a boy and a girl. What are their names?
Bobby and Bobby, like their parents. Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's uncle, is very rich and very fond of the boy. He might well pay for Bobby's education.
Oh, that would be proper. And in that way, Bobby Watson's aunt, old Bobby Watson, might very well, in her turn, pay for the education of Bobby Watson's daughter. That way, Bobby Watson's mother could remarry. Has she anyone in mind?
Yes, a cousin of Bobby Watson's.
Who, Bobby Watson?
Which Bobby Watson do you mean?
Why, Bobby Watson, the son of old Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's other uncle.
No, it's not that one, it's another. Bobby Watson, the son of old Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's aunt.
Oh. Are you referring to Bobby Watson, the commercial traveler?
All Bobby Watsons are commercial travelers.
What a difficult trade. However, they do well at it.
Oh, yes, when there's no competition.
And when is there no competition?
On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Tuesdays.
3 days a week. And then, what does Bobby Watson do on those 3 days if there's no competition?
Oh, he rests, he sleeps.
But why doesn't he work on those 3 days if there's no competition?
I don't know. I can't answer all your idiotic questions.
Are you trying to humiliate me?
You know very well I'm not.
You men are all alike. You sit there all day long, a cigarette in your mouth, or else you powder your nose and rouge your lips 50 times a day, or else you drink like a fish.
Well, what would you do if you saw men around the house like women? Smoking, powdering, rouging their lips, drinking whiskey.
It's no matter to me. And if you're only saying that to annoy me, I don't care for that kind of joking. You know that very well.
Oh, my little ducky daddles. What a little spitfire you are. You know I was only joking. What a pair of ridiculous old lovers we are. Come on, let's put out the lights and go bye-byes.
I'm the maid. I've just been to the cinema with a man, and then I saw a film with some women. After the cinema, we went and drank some brandy and milk, and then read the newspaper.
I hope that you spent a pleasant afternoon, that you went to the cinema with a man, and that you drank some brandy and milk.
And a newspaper.
Mr. and Mrs. Martin, your guests were at the door. Were they waiting for me? They didn't dare come in themselves. They were supposed to have dinner with you this evening.
Oh, yes, we were expecting them. Since they didn't put in an appearance, we were going to start dinner without them. We've had nothing to eat all day. You should not have gone out.
But it was you who gave me permission.
I didn't mean to.
Excuse me, but it seems to me, unless I'm mistaken, that I've met you somewhere before.
I too, sir. It seems to me that I've met you somewhere before.
Was it, by any chance, at Manchester that I caught a glimpse of you, madam?
That is very possible. I'm originally from the city of Manchester. But I do not have a good memory, sir. I cannot say whether it was there that I caught a glimpse of you or not.
Well, good God, how curious. I, too, am originally from the city of Manchester, madam.
That is curious.
Curious it is. Yeah, only I, madam, I left the city of Manchester about 5 weeks ago.
That is curious. What a bizarre coincidence. I too, sir, I left the city of Manchester about 5 weeks ago.
Good Lord, how curious. I took the 8:30 morning train that arrives in London at 4:45, madam.
That is curious. How very bizarre, and what a coincidence. I took the same train, sir, I too.
Good Lord, how curious. Perhaps then, madam, it was on the train that I saw you.
It is indeed possible. That is not unlikely. It is plausible, and after all, why not? But I don't recall it, sir.
I travelled second class, madam. There is no second class in England, but I always travelled second class.
That is curious. How very bizarre, and what a coincidence. I too, sir, I travelled second class.
How curious that is, and what a coincidence. Perhaps then, madam, it was in second class that I saw you.
That is certainly possible, and it is not at all unlikely. But I do not remember very well, my dear sir.
My seat was in coach number 8, compartment 6, dear lady.
How curious that is. My seat was also in coach number 8, compartment 6, my dear sir.
How curious that is, and what a bizarre coincidence. Perhaps then, madam, it was in compartment 6 that I saw you.
It is indeed possible after all. But I do not recall it, my dear sir.
To tell the truth, dear lady, I do not remember it either. However, it seems very possible that we caught a glimpse of each other then, and as I think of it, even very likely.
Oh, truly, of course, truly, sir.
I had seat number 3 next to the window, dear lady.
Oh, good Lord, how curious and bizarre. I had seat number 6 next to the window across from you, my dear sir.
How curious that is, and what a coincidence. Then, madam, we were seated facing each other. It is there that we must have seen each other.
How curious it is. It is possible, but I do not recall it, my dear sir.
Nor do I, madam. But it is very possible that we saw each other on that occasion.
It is true, but I'm not at all sure of it, sir.
Madam, were you not the lady who asked me to place a suitcase in the luggage rack, and who thanked me and who gave me permission to smoke?
But of course, that must have been I, sir. How curious it is, and what a coincidence.
How curious it is, how bizarre, and what a coincidence. Perhaps then, madam, it is then that we came to know each other.
How curious it is, and what a coincidence. It is indeed possible, my dear sir. However, I do not believe that I recall it.
Nor do I, madam. Since arriving in London, I have resided in Bromfield Street, dear lady.
How curious that is, how bizarre. I too, since coming to London, I have resided in Bromfield Street, dear sir.
How curious it is. Perhaps it was in Bromfield Street that I saw you.
How curious that is, how bizarre. It is indeed possible after all, but I do not recall it, my dear sir.
I reside at number 19, dear lady.
How curious that is. I also reside at number 19, my dear sir.
How curious it is, and what a coincidence. Perhaps then, madam, it was in that house that I saw you.
It is indeed possible after all, but I do not recall it, my dear sir.
And my flat is on the 5th floor, number 8, dear lady.
How curious it is. Good Lord, how bizarre, and what a coincidence. I too reside on the 5th floor in flat number 8, dear sir.
How curious it is, how curious it is. How curious it is, what a coincidence. You know, in my bedroom there is a bed. It is covered with a green eiderdown. Now this room with the bed and the green eiderdown lies at the end of the corridor between the WC and the bookcase, dear lady.
What a coincidence. Good Lord, what a coincidence. My bedroom, too, has a bed with a green eiderdown and is at the end of the corridor between the WC, dear sir, and the bookcase.
What a coincidence. Then, madam, we live in the same room and we sleep in the same bed. Perhaps it was there that I've seen you.
How curious it is, and what a coincidence. It is indeed possible that we have met there, And perhaps even last night. But I don't recall it, sir.
Oh, I have a little girl, my little daughter. She lives with me. She's 2 years old. She's blonde. She has one white eye and one red eye. She's very pretty. Her name is Alice, dear lady.
What a bizarre coincidence. I, too, have a little girl. She is 2 years old, has a white eye and a red eye. She is very pretty, and her name is Alice, too, dear sir.
How curious that is, and what a coincidence. Perhaps they are the same, dear lady.
How curious it is. It is indeed possible, my dear sir.
Well then, I believe there can be no doubt about it. I have seen you before, and you are my own wife. Elizabeth, I have found you again.
Donald, it's you, darling.
Donald and Elizabeth are now too happy to hear me. I can therefore let you in on a little secret. Elizabeth is not Elizabeth. Donald is not Donald. And here's the proof. The child that Donald spoke of has a white eye and a red eye, like Elizabeth's daughter. Whereas Donald's daughter has a white right eye and a red left eye, Elizabeth's daughter has a red right eye and a white left eye. Thus, all of Donald's system of deduction collapses when it comes up upon this last obstacle, which does destroy his whole theory. In spite of these extraordinary coincidences, which do seem to be definitive proofs, Donald and Elizabeth, not being parents of the same child, are not Donald and Elizabeth. Why, it is in vain that he believes he is Donald. It is in vain that she believes she is Elizabeth. He believes in vain that she is Elizabeth. She believes in vain that he is Donald. They are sadly deceived. But who is the true Donald? Who is the true Elizabeth? Who has any interest in prolonging this confusion? Well, I don't know. Let's not try to know. Let's leave things as they are. My real name is Sherlock Holmes.
Darling, let's forget all that has not passed between us. And having found each other, let's not lose each other again and live as before.
Yes, darling.
Good evening, dear friends. Please forgive us for making you wait so long. We thought that we should extend you the courtesy to which you are entitled, and as soon as we learn that you have been kind enough to give us the pleasure of coming to see us without prior notice, we hurried to dress for the occasion.
We've had nothing to eat all day. We've been waiting 4 whole hours for you. Why are you so late?
Oh, but definitely.
Y'all have colds.
Yes, but nevertheless, it's not chilly.
Oh no, fortunately.
There's no draft.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Don't you feel well?
No, he's wet his pants.
Oh, sir, at your age you shouldn't.
The heart is ageless.
That's true.
So they say.
They also say the opposite.
The truth lies somewhere between the two.
That's true.
Since you travel so much, you must have many interesting things to tell us.
Oh, dear, tell us what you've seen today.
Oh, it's scarcely worth the trouble, for no one would believe me.
We'll hardly doubt your sincerity.
You will offend us if you think that.
You will offend them, my dear, if you think that...
Oh, well. Today when I went shopping to buy some vegetables, I witnessed something extraordinary, something really incredible.
Oh, this is going to be amusing.
At last.
As I say when I went shopping to buy some vegetables, which are getting to be dearer and dearer.
Where is it all going to end?
You shouldn't interrupt, my dear. It's very rude.
In the street, near a cafe, I saw a man, properly dressed, about 50 years old, or not even that,
Who what?
Who what?
Don't interrupt, my dear. You're disgusting.
My dear, it is you who interrupted first, you bore.
Hush. What was this man doing?
I'm sure you'll say that I'm making it up. He was down on one knee, and he was bent over.
Oh.
Yes, bent over.
Not possible.
Yes, bent over. I went near him to see what he was doing.
And?
He was tying his shoelace, which had come undone.
Fantastic! If I heard it from anyone else, I'd not believe it.
Well, why not? One sees things even more extraordinary every day, just walking down the street. Why, just this afternoon, I was walking in the underground, and I saw a man sitting on his seat, reading his newspaper.
What a character!
Perhaps it was the same man.
Oh, let me tell you another one.
Goodness, someone's ringing.
Oh, there must be somebody there. I'll go and see. Nobody.
Let me give you another example. You see, I was at the grocery the other.
Goodness, someone's ringing.
Oh, there must be somebody there. I'll go and see. No one.
You were saying that you were going to give us another example.
Oh, yes. You see, I was at the grocer, and he had...
Goodness, someone's ringing.
I'm not going to answer the door again.
But there's someone there.
The first time there was no one. Second time, no one. What makes you think that there is someone there now?
Because someone is wrong.
That's no reason.
What? When one hears a doorbell ring, that means there is someone at the door ringing in order to be admitted.
Not always. You've just seen otherwise.
In most cases, yes.
As for me, when I go someplace to visit, I ring in order to be admitted. I think everyone does the same thing, and that each time there's a ring, there's someone there.
That is true in theory. But in reality, things happen differently. You've just seen otherwise.
Your wife is right.
You women, you always stand up for one another.
I'll go and see. You can't say that I'm obstinate, but you'll see that there is no one there. You see? There's no one there. You men who think you're always right and you're always wrong.
Goodness, someone's ringing. There must be someone there.
Don't send me to open the door again. You've seen that it is useless. Experience teaches us that when one hears the doorbell ring, it is because there is never anyone there. Never.
That's not entirely accurate.
In fact, it's false. When one hears the doorbell ring, it's because there's someone there.
He won't admit he's wrong.
My husband is very obstinate too.
There's someone there.
It is possible.
No.
Yes.
I tell you no. And in any case, you're not going to disturb me again for nothing. You wish to know? Go and open it yourself.
I'll go. Oh, how do you do? It's the fire chief.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, good evening, Mr. Smith. You appear to be angry.
My wife is a little chagrined at having been proved wrong.
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Smith have been having an argument.
This is no business of yours. I beg you not to inform outsiders in our family arguments.
Oh, my dear, it's not so serious. And at any rate, the fireman's an old friend of the family. His mother courted me, and I knew his father. He asked for the hand of my daughter, if ever I had one. He died waiting.
It's neither his fault nor yours.
Well, what is it all about?
My husband was claiming...
No, it was you who was claiming.
Yes, it was she.
No, it was he.
Now, don't get excited. You tell me, Mrs. Smith.
Well, this is how it was. It's hard for me to speak openly to you, but a fireman is also a confessor.
Well, then?
My husband was claiming that when one hears the doorbell ring, it is because there's always someone there.
It is plausible.
And I was claiming that when one hears the doorbell ring, it is because there's never anyone there.
It might seem strange,
But it has been proved. Not by theoretical demonstrations, but by facts.
That's false, since the fireman is here. He rang the bell, I opened the door, and there he was.
When?
But just now.
Yes. But it is only when you heard the doorbell ring the fourth time that there was someone there. And the fourth time does not count.
never. It is only the first 3 times that count.
Mr. Fire Chief, permit me in my turn to ask you several questions.
Go right ahead.
When I opened the door and saw you standing there, it was really you who'd rung.
Yes, it was I.
You were at the door, and you were ringing in order to be admitted.
I do not deny it.
You see, I was right. When one hears the doorbell ring, it's because there's someone there, and you certainly cannot say the fire chief is not someone.
Certainly not. I remind you that I was speaking of only the first 3 times, since the fourth time does not count.
When the doorbell rang the first time, was it you?
No, it was not I.
You see, the doorbell rang and there was no one there.
Perhaps it was someone else.
Were you standing outside for a long time?
3/4 of an hour.
And you saw no one?
No one, I'm sure of that.
And did you hear the bell when it rang the second time?
Yes, and it wasn't I either, and there was still no one there.
Victory! I was right.
Not so fast. What were you doing when you were standing out there?
Nothing. I was just standing there. I was thinking many things.
But the third time, it was not you who rang?
Yes, it was I.
But when the door was opened, there was no one in sight.
It's because I'd hidden myself as a joke.
Don't make jokes, Mr. Fire Chief. This business is too sad.
In short, we still do not know whether, when the doorbell rings, there is someone there or not.
Never anyone.
Always someone.
I'm going to reconcile you. You both are partly right. When the doorbell rings, sometimes there is someone, other times there is no one.
That seems logical.
I think so too.
Life is very simple. Really. Now go on and kiss each other.
We just kissed each other a little while ago.
They'll kiss each other tomorrow. They have plenty of time.
Mr. Fire Chief, since you've helped us settle this family argument, make yourself comfortable. Take off your helmet and sit down for a moment.
Well, I haven't much time. You see, I should like to take off my helmet, but I haven't quite time to sit down. I must admit, I've come to see you for another reason. You see, I'm on official business.
What can we do for you, Mr. Fire Chief?
Well, I must beg you excuse my indiscretion, but, well, you don't mind? In front of them?
Say whatever you like.
We're old friends. They tell us everything.
Speak. Well, you wouldn't happen to have any fires here, would you?
No. Why do you ask us that?
Well, it's because, pardon me, you see, I have orders to extinguish all the fires in the city.
All?
Yes, all.
I don't know. I don't think so. Would you like me to go and look?
There are no fires here. I don't smell anything burning.
Nothing at all? Not even a little fire in the chimney? Something burning in the attic or in the cellar? A little fire just starting, at least.
Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't think we have anything at the moment. But I promise we will notify if we do find something.
Oh, please don't forget. It'd be a great help.
That's a promise.
You wouldn't happen to have anything burning at your house, either.
No, unfortunately.
Things are not going so well just now.
Very poorly. There's been almost nothing. A few trifles, a chimney, a barn. Nothing important. And since there are no returns, the profits on output are very meager.
Yes, that's true all over. Things are bad this year in business and agriculture as well as fires. Nothing's prospering.
No wheat, no fires.
No floods either.
But there is some sugar.
That's because it's imported.
It's harder in the case of fires. The tariffs are too high.
All the same, there's an occasional asphyxiation by gas. But that's unusual too. For example, just last week, a young woman asphyxiated herself. She left the gas on.
Had she forgotten it?
No, but she thought it was her comb.
These confusions are always dangerous.
Did you go to see the match dealer?
Oh, there's nothing doing there. He's insured against fires.
Well, you should go see the vicar of Wakefield and use my name.
See, I have permission to extinguish clergymen's fires. And besides, the bishop would get angry. And anyway, they put out all their fires themselves. Or else they have them put out by Vestal virgins.
Go see the Durans.
I can't do that either. You see, he's not English. He's only been naturalized. And naturalized citizens have the right to have houses, but not the right to have them put out if they're burning.
But still, when they set fire to it last year, it was put out all the same.
Oh, he did that all by himself. Clandestinely. But it is not I who would report him.
Neither would I.
Mr. Fire Chief, since you're not too pressed, Stay a little while longer. You'd be doing us a favor.
Shall I tell you some stories?
Oh, how charming of you!
Yes, yes, some stories, hurrah! The interesting thing about the fireman's stories is they're all true, and they're all based on his experience.
Yes, all based on experience. Truth, nothing but the truth. No fiction.
Truth is never found in books, only in life.
Begin.
Begin.
Be quiet, he's beginning.
Excuse me. Don't look at me that way. You embarrass me. You know that I'm shy.
Oh, isn't he charming?
Well, I'm going to try to begin anyhow. Just promise me you won't listen.
But if we don't listen to you, we won't hear you.
I hadn't thought of that.
I told you, he's just a boy.
Oh, the sweet child.
Well then, the dog and the cow, an experimental fable. Once upon a time, another cow asked another dog, "Why have you not swallowed your trunk?" "Pardon me," replied the dog, "because I thought I was an elephant."
What's the moral?
Well, that's for you to find out.
He's right.
Tell us another.
Once upon a time, a young calf had eaten too much ground glass. As a result, he was obliged to give birth. He brought forth a cow into the world. But since the calf was male, the cow could not call him Mama, nor could she call him Papa because the calf was too little. Therefore, the calf was obliged to get married, and the registry office carried out all the details, complete the Alamo.
Alamo de Camp.
Like stripes.
Oh, you've heard that one.
It was in all the papers.
It happened not far from our house.
Let's try another. The cock. Once upon a time, the cock tried to play the dog, but he had no luck because every time he tried to do so, he was recognized right away.
On the other hand, when the dog that wished to play the cock was never recognized.
I'll tell one. A snake and a fox. Once upon a time, a snake said to a fox, "It seems to me I know you." "Me too," replied the fox. "Well then," said the snake, "why don't you lend me some money?" "A fox doesn't lend money," replied the tricky animal, who, in order to escape, jumped into a deep ravine filled with strawberries and chicken honey. But he had no luck. The snake was there first, with a Mephistophelian laugh. The fox pulled out his knife, shouting, "I'll teach you how to live," and then he turned his back and fled. But he had no luck. The snake was quicker. With a quick blow of his fist, he struck the fox in the middle of his forehead, which broke into 1,000 pieces as he cried, "No, no, 4 times no, I'm not your daughter."
It's interesting.
It's not bad.
My congratulations.
It's not so good, besides I've heard it before anyway.
Terrible.
But it wasn't even true.
Yes, unfortunately.
Oh, it's your turn, my dear.
Oh. Well, I only know one. I'm going to tell it to you. It's called The Bouquet.
My wife has always been a romantic.
She's a true Englishwoman.
My wife has always been a romantic.
She's a true Englishwoman.
My wife has always been a romantic.
She's a true Englishwoman.
And here's it. Once upon a time, a fiancé gave a bouquet of flowers to his fiancée, who replied, "Thanks." But before she could say thanks, he, without saying a single word, took back the flowers in order to teach her a good lesson. He said, "I take them back." He said goodbye and went off in all directions.
Oh, charming.
You have a wife, Mr. Smith, of whom all the world is jealous.
Yes, my wife is intelligence personified. She's even more intelligent than I, and much more feminine. Everyone says so.
Let's have another Mr. Fire Chief.
It's too late.
Now, won't you tell us just one more?
I'm too tired.
Please do us a favor.
I beg you.
No.
You have a heart of ice. We're sitting on hot coals.
I implore you.
Righto.
He agrees. He's going to bore us again.
No luck, I was too polite.
the head cold. My brother-in-law had, on the paternal side, a first cousin whose maternal uncle had a paternal grandfather who married as his second wife, a young native, whose brother he met on one of his travels, a girl of whom he was enamored with, and by whom he had a son who married an intrepid lady pharmacist, who was none other than the niece of an unknown fourth-class petty officer in the Royal Navy, whose adopted father had an aunt who spoke Spanish fluently, and who was perhaps one of the granddaughters of an engineer who died young, himself the grandson of the owner of a vineyard which produced mediocre wine, who had a son, a stay-at-home, a sergeant major, who also had a son who married a very pretty young woman, a divorcee, whose first husband was the son of a loyal patriot who, in the hope of making his fortune, managed to bring up one of his daughters so that she could marry a footman who had known Rothschild, and whose brother, after having changed his trade several times, married and had a daughter whose stunted great-grandfather wore spectacles given to him by a first cousin of his, brother-in-law of a man from Portugal, natural son of a miller, not too badly off, and whose son had a cousin, and, oh yes, whose foster brother, lost my place there for a minute, and whose foster brother, who was the natural son of a miller, who himself was the natural son of another country doctor married 3 times in a row, and whose third wife...
No, I know that third wife. Shaped chicken sitting on a hornet's nest.
It's not the same one. And whose third wife had a daughter who was the best midwife in the region, who early left a widow.
Like my wife.
Married a glazier who was full of life, and who had by the daughter of a station master a child who burned his bridges.
Burnt his britches?
No, his bridge game.
Married an oyster woman, whose father, mayor of a small town, married as his wife a blonde schoolteacher, whose cousin a fly fisherman.
Oh, fly by night.
Also married a blonde schoolteacher named Marie, too, whose brother married another Marie, also a blonde schoolteacher.
Since she's blonde, she must be Marie.
And whose father had been reared in Canada by an old woman, who was the niece of a priest, whose grandmother occasionally in the winter caught a cold.
A curious story. Almost unbelievable.
If you catch a cold, you should get yourself a coat.
A useless precaution, but absolutely necessary.
Excuse me, Mr. Fire Chief, but I did not follow your story very well. At the end, when we got to the grandmother of the priest, I got mixed up.
One always gets mixed up in the hands of a priest.
Yes, begin again, Mr. Fire Chief. We all want to hear.
I don't know whether I'll be able to. It depends on what time it is.
We don't have the time here.
But the clock.
Oh, it runs badly. It's contradictory. It always gives the opposite of what the hour really is.
Madam, sir, what do you want?
What are you doing here?
Well, I hope madam and sir will excuse me. Oh, and these ladies and gentlemen too. I would like to tell you a story myself.
What is she saying?
I believe our friend's maid is going mad. She wants to tell us a story, too.
Who does she think she... Oh.
Why are you butting in?
This is really uncalled for, Mary.
But it is she. Incredible.
And you?
Incredible. Yeah.
What does all this mean?
Do you two know each other?
And how?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you again. At last.
This is too much, Fiona, home in the suburbs of London.
It's not proper.
It was she who extinguished my first fires.
On your little firehouse.
Dear friend, if this is true, these emotions are understandable, human, honorable.
All that is human is honorable.
Even so, I don't like to see it here in our home in London.
She's not been properly brought up.
You have too many prejudices.
What I think is that a maid, after all, even though it's none of my business, is never anything but a maid.
Even if she can be a very good detective.
Let me go.
Don't go. They're not so bad, really.
This is all very touching, but a little...
Yes, that's exactly the word.
A little too exhibitionistic.
There is a native British modesty, or forgive me once again for attempting to express myself, not understood by foreigners, even by specialists, for which, excuse me once again for trying to express myself, I mean, of course, I don't mean to refer to you.
I was going to tell you.
Don't tell us anything.
Oh, yes.
Go, my little Mary. go into the kitchen and read your poems before the mirror.
Well, you know, even though I'm not a maid, I also read poems before the mirror.
This morning, when you looked at yourself in the mirror, you didn't see yourself.
That's because I wasn't there yet.
All the same, I could perhaps recite a little poem for you.
Oh, my little Mary, you are frightfully obstinate.
I'm going to recite a poem then, is that agreed? It is a poem entitled The Fire, in honor of the fire chief. The fire. The polypods were burning in the wood. Stone caught fire. Castle caught fire. Forest caught fire. The men caught fire. The women caught fire.
Come on, Mary.
The birds caught fire. The fishes caught fire. The water caught fire. The sky caught fire. The ashes caught fire. The smoke caught fire. Everything caught fire. Caught fire. Caught fire.
That sent chills up my spine.
Yet, there's a certain warmth in those lines.
I thought it was marvelous.
All the same.
You're exaggerating.
Just a minute. I must admit, all this is very subjective, but this is my conception of the world. My world. My dream. My ideal. Ah, that reminds me, I'm running late. And since you don't have the time here, I must inform you that in exactly 3/4 of an hour and 16 minutes, I'm having a fire at the other end of the city. Consequently, I must hurry, even though it'll be quite unimportant.
What will it be? A little chimney fire?
Oh, not even that. A straw fire and a little heartburn.
Well, we're sorry to see you go.
You've been very entertaining.
Thanks to you, we have passed a truly Cartesian quarter of an hour.
Speaking of that, the bald soprano.
She always wears her hair in the same style.
Ah, but good day, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, goodbye, and a good fire.
Let's hope so, for everybody.
I could buy a pocket knife for my brother, but you can't buy Ireland for your grandfather.
One walks with one's feet, but one heats with electricity of coal.
He who sells an ox today will have an egg tomorrow.
In real life, one must look out the window.
One can sit down on a chair when the chair doesn't have any.
One must always think of everything.
Ah, yes. The ceiling is above, the floor is below.
When I say yes, it's only a manner of speaking.
To each his own.
Take a circle, caress it, and it will turn vicious.
A schoolmaster teaches his pupils to read, but the cat suckles her young when they are small.
Nevertheless, it was the cow that gave us tails.
When I'm in the country, I enjoy the quiet and the solitude.
Oh, you are not old enough yet for that.
Benjamin Franklin was right. You are more nervous than he.
What are the 7 days of the week?
Montag, Dienstag, Mittwoch, Donnerstag, Freitag, Samstag, Sonntag.
Eduardo es dependiente, su mano nena es maquinista y Guillermo se la tienta.
An odd family.
I prefer a bird in the bush to a sparrow in a barrel.
I'd rather have a steak in a chalet than gristle in a castle.
An Englishman's home is truly his castle.
I don't know enough Spanish to make myself understood.
I'll give you my mother-in-law's slippers if you'll give me your husband's coffin.
I'm looking for a monophysite priest to marry our maid.
Yes, bread is a stuff. Roast bread is also a stuff. And an oak springs from an oak every morning, that's all.
My uncle lives in the country, but it's none of the midwife's business.
Yes, paper is for writing, the cat's for the rat, cheese is for scratching.
The car goes very fast, but the cook beats batter better.
Don't be a turkey. Rather, kiss the conspirator.
Je pense, donc je suis.
I'm waiting for the aqueduct to come and meet me at my window.
One can say that social progress is definitely better with sugar.
To hell with polishing.
One doesn't polish spectacles with black wax.
Yes, but with money one can buy anything.
I'd rather kill a rabbit than go and sing in the garden.
Cockatoos, 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 cockatoos.
Such caca, 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 such caca.
Such cascades of cockers, 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 such cascades of cockers.
Dogs have fleas. Dogs have fleas.
Cactus, coccyx, crocus, cockadide, cockroach.
In Casco, you and Casca!
I'd rather lay an egg in a box than go and steal an ox.
Let me gnash my teeth.
Crocodile, let's go and slash Ulysses.
I'm going to live in my cabana among my cacao trees.
Cacao trees on cacao farms don't bear coconuts, they yield cocoa. Cacao trees on cacao farms don't bear coconuts, they yield cocoa. Cacao trees on cacao farms don't bear coconuts, they yield cocoa.
Mice have lice, lice haven't mice.
Don't roosh my brooch.
Don't smooch the brooch.
Groom the goose. Don't goose the groom.
Groom your tooth.
Groom the bridegroom, groom the bridegroom.
Seduce is seduced.
Scaramouche. Satan a douche.
Go take a douche.
I've been goosed.
Satan stoops to my cartouche.
Who'd stoop to blame that I'd never choose to stoop?
Robert Browning. Rudyard
Kipling.
Robert Kipling.
Rudyard Browning.
Silly gobble gobblers, silly gobble gobblers.
Marietta, spot the pot.
Krishnamurti, Krishnamurti, Krishnamurti.
The Pope elopes. The Pope's got no horoscope. The horoscope is Pope.
Bizarre, Balzac, bazooka.
Bizarre, Bozak, Brazils.
A-E-I-O-U, A-I-O-U, A-I-O-U, I.
B, C, D, F, G, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Z.
From sage to stooge, from stage to sir.
It's
Not
That.
way.
It's
Over.
Here.
It's
not that way.
It's over here.
It's not that way. It's over here. It's not that way. It's over here.
It's not that way. It's over here. It's not that way. It's over here.
There. It's 9 o'clock. We've drunk the soup and eaten the fish and chips and the English salad. The children have drunk English water. We've eaten well this evening. That's because we live in the suburbs of London and because our name is Martin. Potatoes are very good fried and fat. The salad oil was not rancid. The oil from the grocer at the corner is better quality than the oil from the grocer across the street. It is even better than the oil from the grocer at the bottom of the street. However, I prefer not to tell them that their oil is bad. However, the oil from the grocer at the corner is still the best. Meredith the potatoes very well this evening. the last time she did not do them well. I do not like them when they are well done.